Hey guys, Jengar here. Today is the first dev server opening of a patch 1.79 and we've got quite a few new planes to look at. I am planning to, in this video, give you an overview of all the planes that have been added at this time in this particular version of the dev server, and we'll take a quick glance at everything and then we'll run through to individual looks at several planes as much as I can muster in the opening of this dev server. Let's start with the American tree right here. We've got two new planes in this dev server for America. The first one is the P-40F. We already have seen a dev blog about this plane and we took a look at it. It is quite a nice plane. It will have a little better performance than the original P-40 in the game. It has a battle rating of 2.7 right now, which I already guessed in that dev blog. The plane runs with 650 cals, which looks pretty decent. The maximum speed and all that jazz are right now, of course, from a stock version. Let's see how the armor looks on this plane. We've got 3mm here in the front. We've got a good bulletproof glass with 38mm and 8mm steel plate behind the pilot. We've got, let's see, we've got 281 rounds. Yeah, for all of the 50 cal, so that's equally divided. And you have an Allison V1710 39 12 cylinder inline engine, cooled by water, maximum horsepower 990. So there is that. This plane is gonna be interesting at this battle rating with the current flight models of the P-40, which are quite competitive. I would say that this plane will quickly find its place within War Thunder, and I cannot wait to fly it out. We'll be flying this thing out, of course, in a test flight later. But let's continue, shall we? Second plane in the American line is a jet, and let's take her to the preview. This is the FJ4B, and this looks rather stunning. This is a plane that I've seen before, but I must say that I do not know the details from my own interest yet. My main interest of planes has always been props and World War II, and this is definitely post World War II, but it looks pretty fucking amazing, I have to say. And let's see what this plane has to offer in the modifications first. Well, here we go. 114 Hydra rockets. That looks very interesting to start with. This is a potential ground pounder of epic proportions. It has the usual belts for the Americans at this point, and looks like the same kind of setup as most jets at this battle rating. It's a 9.0 obviously, and the maximum speed already looks promising when stock. This will probably exceed 1100 or close to it when it is fully spaded. It has 4 20mm Browning Colt Mark 12 Mod 3 cannons with 576 rounds total. We've got a little bit of armor on the plane with a 60mm bulletproof glass, and the plate behind the pilot is 12.7mm. Now let's take a look at how those guns are divided. We've got 144 rounds. They are equally divided, 144 rounds per gun, rapid firing of course. We've got the engine over here, which is a Wright J65 W16A jet with a 3238.5 thrust at takeoff. Looks pretty good to me. We're getting close, or maybe this actually is already a supersonic jet. The placement of the guns is quite nice, and this plane looks Very good, can't wait to get my hands on this thing with the rockets and a fighter bomber, I guess. So that's it for the Americans. Let's go to the German tree, as we have a few additions here as well. To start off with a few new BF-110s, which are quite nice. Let's take us to the preview. The BF-110, of course, long have we asked for more versions of this plane in the game. We had only one, the C7, up until so far, which has a new model as well, I believe. Well, this plane, let's take a look at her in the modifications. We've got some bomb load options, we've got an extra required modification, we've got a 20 millimeters which can be added to the plane. Quite nice. We can do that here. And extra guns will weigh the plane down, of course, but who cares about that? For the rest, you've got some bomb options as well, which is good, and we've got some rockets, 12 rockets here, also pretty good. So much more usable as a ground attacker. Looking good. A lot of modifications to unlock on this plane, will be quite a bit of work. But 3.7 is the beta rating. Right now we've got two 20 millimeters as a standard. Added to that, supported by those four 7.92 MG17 machine guns. And we've got a turret on her, of course. This is the stock data on the plane. But yeah, the frontal ammunition is always devastating on these things. We've got quite a bit of armor on this thing. Protection here for the liquid cooling system. We've got steel plates here for the gunner and for the pilot, well protected. Engine protected here as well. And it's a little bit of a beast, eh? More designed towards ground attacking, I guess, with those rockets and bomb options. 1000 rounds for the machine guns, pretty nice. And the cannons have 180 rounds, which looks quite nice. All in all, looking good. The skin also looks pretty good, I have to say. More BF-110s, who can be against that? We have another one. Let's take a look at that one. That's a G2. Got a preview here as well. Oh, we've got 30 millimeters on this one. It's becoming scarier and scarier. The battle rating on this one is increased to 3.3. Let's check the modifications. We have 37 millimeters. Okay. That sounds quite good with a few rockets. We've got two 20 millimeters here, also an option with 4 rockets as well. And we've got 4 rockets alone. And I guess you get the 20 millimeters extra, yeah. And you get a 37 cannon extra here again with these bomb options. Massive firepower on the thing. Same armor protection as the last one, with all this protection for the gunner, the cooling system, the engines have some protection here. And the guns even have protection, with the pilot being nicely boxed in, except for the sides, which are still open. But yeah, here we have some 30 millimeters with 135 rounds for the Mark 108 cannons. That's a lot of rounds for those cannons. They are slow firing, and you can last a long time with those 135 rounds. Cannons here have 350 rounds. This is gonna be a beast. 3.3 is a high battle rating, though. You up tier to some pretty nasty opposition. But we're gonna have to see for the performance of this thing. The engines, Daimler-Benz DB605B 12-cylinder inline engines with 1171 horsepower. Quite nice for the G2. What did the F2 have? Just to check. Oh yeah, they have less horsepower than the other one. They have the 1098 horsepower, so that's a little bit less. Alright, good to know. And the C7... Oh, no, no, no. Wrong button. I want to see the modifications of this one. This one didn't have that massive gun improvement thing going on that the two new BF-110s have going for them. That is new, that is going to be exciting. This one did have the bomb options as well. But the armament on the C is of course 2 20s and 4 7.9s. That's where this one starts off with as well. But this one can have extra 20 millimeters. And this one has 30 millimeters and can have 37 millimeters. So interesting at 3.3, I have to say. Of course, then we have this bad boy over here. And yeah, the BF-109Z, there she is. She looks quite nice in game. Looking nice and shiny, nice skin. Let's see what kind of armor she has. Well, this is a dummy, so we have the steel plate here, 10 millimeter and 8 millimeter with a 60 millimeter bulletproof glass. We have the 4 30 millimeters, but they only have 65 rounds. Compared that to the 135 rounds on the BF-110 at 3.3 battle rating, the G2. You have quite a little bit less ammo on this thing. It can still last you a little bit because they are slow firing, like I said. But yeah, as that is the only armament on this plane, let's see if we can do anything. No, no. No, we cannot change this, so this is... There's nothing else. That it will have the 30 millimeters. You cannot downgrade to or upgrade, no matter how you look at it, I guess. You can't do that. You do have a 250 bomb, but you don't want that, I guess. Night ammo we have, universal, stealth. No air targets. But of course it's the 30 millimeters and they don't have air targets. It's a premium, as we already discussed. And it is not the high battle rating expected. It's quite a bit lower actually, and I wonder if this is gonna stay this way. This is quite a bit lower than the Twin Mustang. I had thought this plane might be 5.3 battle rating, maybe even 5.7, but it is 4.3 right now, and that is the state it is right now. Of course, we don't know if that's gonna stay that way, but if it's 4.3, it's quite a bit lower than the Twin Mustang, which is a beast, of course, as we all know. And these stats cards, even when spaded, are quite unreliable, and this is stock, so, but it already looks quite alright. And this is going to be quite a bit higher into the 700s, and the climb rate will improve a little bit as well. At 4.3, this looks very, very interesting, I have to say. If it stays that way, this plane could be better than I expected, to be honest. And the 30 millimeters are gonna be touch and go for people who don't fly with them a lot. You're gonna run out of ammo a lot, but you have to be trigger patient with these 62 rounds per gun. But they can be devastating with 4 of them. And at 4.3 battle rating, we might have a beast on our hands here. Yep, I'm looking forward to that one. We're gonna definitely check this plane out in a separate preview, a little bit more extensively. We're gonna fly her out. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it for the German line. Let's continue to the Soviet line. The Soviets have one new plane. That is the IL-28. And it is basically the same, also sitting at 8.0 battle rating. Probably the engines can be a little bit more powerful. But the main thing probably is the bomb load. And this is what I wanted to show you. It has the option of 192 rockets, ground attack beast anyone, and it's gonna have the option to gun pods, and it has 4 23mm cannons available there. So that is gonna be interesting, and that is definitely some changes compared to the old one. This one really didn't have those options, it just had the bomb options. So it is definitely going to be a better version of the IL-28, and it's gonna bring enough new to it that you're gonna want to unlock it, I think, if the Soviet tree is your main tree. And we're definitely gonna take a look at it as well. But yeah, that's the only plane the Soviets have added, and but a nice one, and with some nice additions to her. The Brits have nothing added to their tree, so we're gonna skip that. We're gonna go straight on to the Japanese tree, which has the Kai 33, which we already saw in a dev blog as well. It is a 1.7 plane. Let's take a look at her. Well, looking quite nice. The armor in the plane is non-existent, of course. It's a Japanese plane. Let's see, what do we have? We have offensive armament, of course, in the one 7.7 machine gun. It is actually not two, as I understood from the dev blog, but it's only one, and it sits in one wing, so it's going to be strange firing that. You would expect it through the propeller. We have a double. We have a machine gun here, gunner, and fuel tanks on the side. Well, this is gonna be some straightforward bombing, low tier bombing. It's probably gonna be fun, and that gun is in a unique position. I haven't seen that before. Let's see what kind of bomb loads we have on this plane. 9 times 50 kilograms and 4 times 100 kilograms. This plane does not stray off the path of most Japanese bomber, and that is lacking bomb loads. This one is the same. Well, we're gonna have to see how that pans out, but this is one of those planes you're gonna look at a little bit later in the patch, as there's so much interesting stuff here that is gonna take precedence over this Ki 32, although it looks like a nice plane. We're going on towards the Italians, and the Italians are running with 2 new planes. We have a new Reggiani here, and they will probably keep upgrading this line until we get to the planes we're really looking forward to, like the 2005 maybe. Let's take a look at this one. Nice skin, actually, I have to say. Looks very, very sharp. Italians flew in style, we can't say otherwise. It runs with 2 12.7 millimeter machine guns, same ammo load as on the other plane. This one though has some bomb options, unlike the first Reggiani that we had. This one has 2 times 50 kilograms and 2 times 100 kilograms available, and that's the main difference of this plane. Looking very good. For the rest, I look forward to this little plane. I had a lot of fun in his little predecessor. This one sits at 2.3 battle rating. That makes a little bit of difference compared to the first one, which sat at 2.0. Let's take a look at the plane that we really want to see in this. Of course, I like this plane. I mean, but it's not that much difference from the 2000, Reggiani 2000. But this one, the I.A.R 81C, this is the one that we already had a dev blog on, and one of the unique planes of the Axis that we had been looking forward to. 2.7 battle rating. I estimated 2.7, maybe 3.0. It sits right here in this battle rating that I thought it would be at. Rank 2 plane. We have 2 20mm MG 151 cannons with 350 rounds. That is an amazing ammo load and firepower. Also supported by 2 machine guns with 1400 rounds. Fantastic ammo load and firepower on this plane. It looks like the climb rate is a little bit off right now, but of course this is stock, so I'm not gonna say much on that right now. The price of this thing is $850. Looks like not too much. We have some bomb options on the plane. 250 with two 50s. We have two rockets combined with a 250. So you have some ground attack options, although probably not recommended on this plane. We have, this is the machine gun ammo. The 20mm ammo does have the air targets, our trusted Minengeschoss. Very nice. That's going to be devastating at this battle rating. Absolutely devastating, and I'm definitely looking forward to this plane. It will probably be a boom and zoomer, not too maneuverable. Let's see what kind of armor she has right now. Just a little bit of protection for the pilot and a bulletproof. The glass is 75mm. That's quite a bit, but and it has a long nose, of course, so the engine is in the way and stuff. Looking good. We have a lot of fuel right in front of the pilot. Everything is there, nothing in the wing, so if you get hit here in the central fuselage, you have big chances on fires. 170 rounds each, yeah. And we have the machine guns right next to it. We have everything in the wings, nothing central, with a radial engine here. With the I.A.R 14 KIVC 32 14 cylinder radial with 812 horsepower. That sounds promising. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this plane. I'm definitely gonna buy her from the get-go and see what she has to offer us. This is gonna be a very interesting plane, I think, at 2.7 battle rating. So yeah, two new planes for the Italians. Looking forward to them both. And then last but not least, we have the French tree, which has 3 new additions, I believe. Yep. We're gonna start down here with the Leo late. I did not see any differences with the Leo early, and it will probably have to be the engines, probably. Maybe slightly better performance on this thing. But yeah, it's basically the same plane. It has the same turrets. It has the same forward-facing gun. The same bomb load as well. Armor is nothing to write home about. Yeah, we still have the fuel tanks here. 4-man crew. And the modifications. Yeah, you've got the same 4 options here in the bomb load. So that's a known plane. And it's not going to do much more than that first plane, the early, which I reviewed already as well. Let's see. There we go to the Corsair. We had a dev blog on this plane, which we already looked at. Looking quite like the American version. This is a basically the same as the F4U4B. It has the same engine as that plane, and it has the same setup basically. The only thing is that this one was more set up for ground attacking and will have this rocket loadout with 114 rockets of the Snap type. Snap type 23. That is gonna make this plane more a ground attacker, what the French actually used it for. It also has these T10 rockets, and in 2 different versions, and of course the American armament will be available as well with this 10 times 100 kilogram bombs French option as well. So you have a little bit more of a ground attacking option with this stealing the price, of course. And well, for the rest, if you leave that off, you can take this F4U7 as the French F4U4B version. It is basically that, what it is. It is basically that. So the armor here is quite nice. Little bit 3mm is not really much. It has 38mm bulletproof glass, and the steel plate is 8mm and 12mm at the head. The X-ray doesn't show much either. What do we have per gun here? 246 rounds for all the guns. That is a very nice ammo load with some very nice guns with the 20mm AN M3 cannons. 4 of them with a big ammo load. So you can basically use this as a fighter as well. It sits at 6.0 battle rating, which is quite steep of course, but I guess that has to do with the rockets as well. Lovely plane to look at, by the way. Absolutely lovely. I am looking forward to this one. Can't complain about another Corsair in the line. And then last but not least this patch, the French get their very own F-84G. Yes, we have another one of these. This must be the most used. Well, we have several planes that are across several nations. And this one is now available in 3 nations, the Americans, the Italians and the French. We know this plane already well, and let's take a look at her modifications. I don't see much else here. This is basically the regular loadout with the I.A.R rockets and the connected different setups with tiny TIMs, with 1000 kilobombs or 500 pounds, by the way, pounds, 500 pounds or 1000 pound bombs. So we all know that. I am probably never going to use those bomb options for ground attacking because I like this plane a lot as a fighter. You are running with your regular 50 cals M3 Browning machine guns, 1800 rounds, 6 of them, all in the nose, and those 2 close to the fuselage, looking good. This has a little bit of the same setup with those little wingies there. Looks nice touch here. But we already know this plane, so I'm not gonna go much into this plane. I already reviewed both the American and the Italian one. We're gonna review this one as well when it comes out. So those are the planes, guys. We have looked at them all. I hope you had a good overview, and we are gonna go into the separate plane reviews or previews as soon as possible. Hope to have them out quickly after this video. We're probably gonna start with that American naval plane, shall we? That would be quite fun. That one. So guys, I'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.